I'm Shelton Wilder, and welcome to Wilder Possibilities Podcast, where each episode follows an entrepreneur's journey into the transformative power of that light bulb moment where everything clicks. I call that the click. Those pivotal points that redefine our futures, illuminate paths to success, and even change the world. Now let's get wilder. Hi friends, welcome back to Wilder Possibilities Podcast. I'm here with one of my dear friends, and she's such a star. I love her so much. Denise Di Novi, and she is a producer and directed and an artist. Let me just tell you some of her movies because she said she wasn't going to say them.
No, you have to say them. There's too many.
Okay, well, some of my faves: Edward Scissorhands.
Yes.
The Nightmare Before Christmas, right?
Mm-hmm.
And Little Women, both of them.
Yep.
The Traveling Pants.
It's just
Sisterhood.
two Sisterhood of the Traveling.
Yep. And recently The Veil.
Yes, on FX with Elizabeth Moss starring, a limited series called The Veil.
Yep.
Most recently.
That's your most recent.
It's my most recent, and we're getting ready to make the sequel to Practical Magic 2 with Sandra Bullock and Nicole Kidman. It was announced a few months ago that a lot of women are very excited about. A lot of witches out there.
Oh, I'm excited. What a cast for that.
Yeah, well, they were in the original, and they're excited to do the sequel now, 26 years later.
That's amazing. Do you like doing sequels?
I haven't done a lot.
The traveling,
the traveling
back
pants, that was right. They were kind of back to back. Yeah. But it's challenging to do a sequel, to live up, especially if the movie's successful enough to warrant a sequel, then it's a high bar and it's very challenging. But as the years have gone by with Practical Magic, it's just grown and grown as a phenomenon. It's just crazy. So, and I think the timing is right. It's definitely a female power movie.
Yes.
So the timing is good.
And give the people what they want. Mm-hmm. If they want. And both of those women look so incredible.
Yes.
I mean,
the problem is they look the same as they did 26 years ago. So we're going to have to.
They literally do.
They're more beautiful now.
Oh my God. Yeah. Wild. Okay. Would they ever do a sequel to Edward Scissorhands?
I don't think I was partnered with Tim Burton for many years. I don't. Yeah. He just did never say never. He just did a sequel to Beetlejuice. I didn't make Beetlejuice, but that was super successful.
Yeah, I saw it.
Yeah, you never know. Yeah.
Oh, I'm going to just put that out there because that's one of my faves.
Yeah, no, it was great. It turned out they did a good job on that sequel. Yeah.
Yeah, no, but Edward Scissorhands.
Oh, yes.
Like iconic forever. Yeah. One of my favorite ever.
Yeah, that the message of that movie, and it is so beautiful and it's so original and
so original.
Yeah, it's a beloved, very beloved movie. It's the power of movies. As much as people are talking about people not going to the theater or the movie business is, kind of been decimated in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
And changed so much. It's it's still, I think, the most powerful medium, and it touches people. Look at Wicked that just came out. I think if it's something where people want to experience it together, like Barbie was, and now Wicked, that kind of movie, I think it's equally powerful. There just are not as many as there used to be, and now a lot of them are on streaming. Where it kind of makes sense to watch it in the comfort of your home or with your family or whatever together. So, I think it has changed a lot. I mean, I used to have a new movie opening every week in the theaters.
Oh yeah, huge.
But not, it's not the same, but it's still as powerful in different ways.
Yeah. So tell me about where you're from and how you kind of got your first click. To be,
I grew up in Los Angeles and Laguna Beach, and movies and books were my go-to. They were kind of both my teacher and my escape and my way to see the bigger world out there. Mm-hmm. and they, they were very ingrained in me as something that I just really felt an affinity for. But it never occurred to me to work in that field because the only women I ever saw in that field were actresses, and I knew I couldn't be an actress. So
yeah. Did you ever want to be an actress?
No, I think I figured out that I was not the type. I'm an outgoing person, but I'm not a performer. So
Yeah.
I never thought about that. But I wanted to be a journalist because I'm really curious and I love asking questions and I love learning about the world. And so I went to college for journalism, and I started as an on-air journalist and I loved it. But
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
You were...
I was on air in Toronto, yeah. As I'm Denise Di Novi, City Pulse News. This is like many centuries ago.
No, stop it. But that is interesting.
Yeah. No, I liked it, but I always loved movies, so I started doing like movie reviews and stories about movies. Long story short, I was offered a job as a publicist on a movie, and I quit to do that, and I just kind of one thing led to another, and I was in the business in Toronto, and then moved to back to LA, and was in the business. And I just, I didn't know how to be a producer because, again, they say, you can't be it till you see it. And the only woman I saw that was kind of a role model, who's still a role model, is Sherry Lansing, who's now a philanthropist. But she was the first woman studio head at Fox, and then went on to be a producer and ran Paramount, and she was kind of my idol. And I thought, maybe I could do that. And I, worked in development for a couple of companies, and then I found a script through just kind of my crowd in LA, a friend, Michael Lehman, who knew the writer of Heathers, and that was really a click for me because I read it and I was like, I have to make this movie. I know how to get this movie made.
That was the movie?
That was my first movie. And
wait, what? Wow.
Yes,
Heathers.
Well, it was luck. It was a lot of things, but that I think if I hadn't made Heathers, my whole life would be different. There are certain things in your life when you look back and you think, what if that hadn't happened? Maybe something better would have happened. Who knows? But it would have certainly been different. Wow. Because after making that movie, which became like a really big deal.
Yes, that is a huge, oh my God.
Yeah, is still a big deal. Winona Ryder was in the movie, and she had just worked with Tim Burton. So she introduced me to Tim Burton, who was looking for a producing partner. So at a very young age, after only making one movie, I became Tim's producing partner, and the first movie was Edward Scissorhands. I've had a tremendous amount of luck. And I think it's partially...
I don't think just luck.
I agree, Shelton.
You're amazing.
I think, there are opportunities that come your way that are lucky, but it's like, what do you do with that? And
you grabbed it.
Right.
You went for it.
I think I've always been kind of a fearless person. Mm-hmm. And I don't know, a lot of times it looks like I'm stupid. I don't think I'm making stupid decisions or crazy decisions or whatever. But I look at it as fearless because I always kind of think, what's the worst that could happen? If I'm not going to harm myself or others, why not? I'm just going to jump in and give it a shot. So, so that's, I think, that was when my career started. And listen, there are tremendous challenges like there is with anything, but if you're lucky enough to find something like my father's a jazz musician, still 97 years old, and still a jazz musician.
That's so great.
And he said to me very early on, do something where you would do it for free. Wow. Now, there's not a lot of things you could say that about, but I'm lucky enough to say I probably would have made movies for free. So I think if you can find something that you are passionate about and that you love to do, you're very blessed and good things will come out of it, one way or the other.
Well, because you took the risk too. That's Amanda, our mutual friend.
Yes.
She said, I'm sure she'll say the same about you. She's always like, you just like jump out of the airplane and I'm like, oh, I hope the I hope the parachute's back there.
The parachute's going to work.
I feel like that, like you were just probably like, yes. Just
Listen,
say yes.
the younger you are, the easier it is.
Yeah, just say yes. Yeah.
And to keep that fearlessness after you've been beat up 100 times or failed 100 times, or, as you're getting older and it's harder to be fearless. It's hard to hang on to that, but I think that's, it's really important to have a practice that supports you in being fearless, in taking risks, in being positive, in betting on yourself.
You really bet on yourself. Wait, what about Heather's too?
Oh, we've talked about it there many times, but it just, I have to say, I don't, with the political climate and what's happened in the world, because there's a lot of stuff in Heather's that actually was a Black comedy that's now been horrible things have happened, so I don't think you could make that movie now, it showed kind of darker aspects of being a teenager, and now there's a lot of darkness being a teenager these days. So I think it would be very difficult. There's a Broadway musical of Heather's that's fantastic. If anybody wants to listen to the soundtrack, it's on online and on Spotify. It's fantastic. But it would be tough to do that one.
To do that one. Yeah. Right now with But I'm going to put it out there for Edward Scissorhands.
Okay.
I don't know why. I just love that. Okay, so then after that, and you worked with Tim how long? For a while?
Oh, many years, 10 years or something, I think.
Wow.
10 years, yeah. And then I went out on my own. I wanted to have my own company to make female-driven movies. I felt like if I had, had that luck and the opportunity to become a producer with that access and have my own deal at a studio, at that time Columbia offered me a deal, that I should use that opportunity. I felt like female stories were really underrepresented. Yeah. It was always the girlfriend or the wife or whatever, and never about women's stories. And the first movie I did make was the first Little Women with Winona Ryder and Susan Sarandon. And then that's been kind of the backbone of my career.
Yeah, that's amazing. And are you friends with Winona's still? I feel like
she's great. Yeah,
I feel like you guys
she was
important.
15 when I met her. Yeah, and now she's, what is she, in her 50s or something? I mean, it's crazy, but so happy for her, the resurgence in her career. She's a wonderful person.
Yeah, I mean, it just seems like you guys had a lot.
Yeah, we did a few things together.
Yeah, well, that's amazing. Okay, and then tell us what you're doing now, because you're doing something very, very important. But we met a while ago, and then...
Yes, we met when you were starting.
Yeah.
I mean, you have had such a meteoric rise. Talk about...
Oh, gosh, no.
Not about me. What you've accomplished... How many years ago... When did you first begin...
This is like 8 years. 8 years.
8 years.
Yeah.
You have reached like a level that most people don't reach after 25 years of doing real estate. So it's just incredible.
Oh, I love you.
And I remember when I first met you and you said like, positron, let's be positron. I was like, what the heck is she talking about?
What is this girl?
That sounds like, like an alien, like from Star Trek or something. Like, what's positron mean? And, but, I've seen it in action with you, and it's really, it really works to have that much, positive energy. And it's really about being such a kind person and such a generous person. I think that really comes back to you, and having an intention with your work. Like, I think intention is everything. My intention with making movies was to put something inspiring and good out in the world and tell women's stories. Like I've always had a very positive intention. And I do believe that any success I've had has come from that intention. Well,
you have that, and you emanate that out everywhere in the world.
Thank you. And
you really do.
The same with you. I think intention is everything. When people talk about manifesting, there's all this stuff about manifesting.
Yes, of course.
Manifesting with but having the intention of competitiveness or greed or all those things, it's not going to work the same way. I think people maybe don't understand that, but so yeah.
And so when you were putting it out there with these female, driven movies, you did the Little Women, then you did the Sisterhood, the Traveling Piano. Do you find the scripts to do, or they come to, how does that work?
There's so many different ways. I find them, people send them. It's, there's 100 different ways that it comes. It's really kind of like what you do there's some hustle, in terms of.
You have hustle.
Yeah, looking for things. And some things have been this last show, The Veil, was my original idea. Articles, books, scripts come. I mean, there's so many ways to do it. Just like, how do you get a listing? It comes from so many different ways.
It's all people. It's always for
relationship.
It's relationship.
Yeah.
It's just, and you love people. You have to love people. And
Yeah, you have to be able to connect with people. Yeah, that's why it's interesting for me because we met. I think we met when my second husband and I had gotten together, and sadly he passed away 5.5 years ago. We only had 5.5 years together. Actually, I didn't realize that was the same amount of time now.
Oh wow!
But he was he was a unicorn in the man department. He was one in a million, but. So I had a lot, and he also passed away during the week of the lockdown. He passed away. So I had such a double whammy, and it was a very difficult time. And I, out of the blue, started painting. And talk about clicks, I just had this compulsion to start painting. And I had never painted a thing in my life or drawn a thing in my life or gone to a class or anything.
Oh, wait, I don't think I knew that. I knew you started late, but I thought maybe in your youth or no.
Never. I've always been a creative, artistic person. My entire family's creative.
Your jazz singer.
My dad's a pianist. My sister's a designer. All my aunts and uncles were artists. And so I have it genetically, but my creative outlet was film, which is I'm a very creative producer. I was involved in every creative aspect. So it's not like I had been a stockbroker and became an artist. So I was in a creative field, but I had never done anything with painting or drawing. And it became an emotional outlet for me as part of my grief journey. And I was not painting for anybody or had any, my intention with it again was really to kind of calm my mind, focus my mind, and to express what was going on inside of me, and to keep some beauty in my life. I was creating my own beauty to keep my head above water. And then, a few years went by, and again, out of nowhere, I also live in Laguna Beach. I grew up there, and
you grew up. I mean, that's why.
Yeah, I went to high school there, and I've always loved it. It's such a special place to me, and it really was a sanctuary for me during that time. And so it's an artist community. There's a lot of galleries. And so I connected with people in Laguna Beach, or a woman named Gianna Wurtzel, who kind of works with artists and their vision, and met her, and then met people through the Peter Blake Gallery, the Honecker Gallery, and ended up having a gallery show at the Honecker.
And I came.
And Shelton was so sweet and came down from LA, and so many of my LA friends came. It was so moving.
Because it was such a big deal. Yeah. And it's in that beautiful building. I mean,
it's a beautiful gallery. I really suggest anyone who, goes for a little trip to Laguna or a day trip, drop by the Honor. It's HONARKAR Gallery. Yeah. It's beautiful, and they always have something great there. And the Peter Blake Gallery is, I think, the best gallery in Laguna Beach too, which is kind of across the street. So so that was like a whole new thing for me, and I'm still painting. I have a website for my art, which I'm trying to share my story. as much as I can, because I think the message that it is okay to talk about your grief. It's not something that you have to keep secret or feel that after a year you're not allowed to be sad or talk about it anymore. I think in our culture we're so in the dark ages in terms of how we handle grief in this country in particular. And and be that something beautiful can come out of suffering, and can the creativity, no matter what it is, whether it's cooking or gardening or sewing or, whatever it is, scrapbooking, that I do believe that it's a God-given thing, creativity, and that people say like, oh, I'm not a creative person. I think it's part of being human is being creative.
Yeah.
You may not realize that what you're doing is actually creative. And it is something that can save your life. I think it has been given to us as a way to deal with really hard times. So I hope that my story and my paintings, show people that or inspire that in other people.
Oh, for sure. I mean, it was such a success. And then when you see it, I mean, there's a lot of emotion in your art, and it was how you were healing.
Exactly.
Yeah. Because if you didn't have that, I mean,
it would have been much harder.
Yes. Because he was so lovely.
Yeah, he was really great. Yeah.
I know. I only met him one time.
Yeah. No, he was. I think the saying is the grief is in proportion to the love. When we love someone, whether whoever it is, your parent, your friend, whoever the person is that you love. When you lose them, the grief is going to be equal to that love.
Oh, yeah.
And it's an expression of beauty because that person came into your life and gave you such a gift. Sorry, I'm making you cry.
No, I know.
But you know what? This is an example, Shelton, of what I'm talking about. What a beautiful thing that those, your tears are honoring the person that's in your heart.
Oh, for sure.
And I think, in our lives and in our culture, we have to see it as a beautiful thing, not something to say, I don't want to go there. I don't want to cry or,
I don't want to talk about it.
Yeah.
No, because it's, I just know how much you loved him too.
Oh, thank you. Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah.
It's changed my life for sure. And I think that's the other thing that I think we can learn is that when you make it through, when you honor those emotions and you make it through, you become a better human being. You value life differently.
Yeah, I'm sure.
You kind of realize what's important and you appreciate the little things in life that you didn't before.
Yeah.
When I think about when my kids were little and living in Santa Monica, and rushing to work and rushing to carpool and taking them to their sports things and trying to be on top of everything. I was like a hamster on a wheel, those years of your life. Like that's what you're doing now.
Oh gosh. Yeah. We talk about it all the time.
Yeah. You just have to do it.
It was similar. I'm like running around and
you're amazing.
2 boys.
How
you had 2 boys. Yeah.
You're amazing how you juggle everything because your job is 24/7 and you're always available to your clients, so it's, it is really hard these years, but it is also so much fun.
It's so much fun.
You're so alive while you're doing it.
Yeah.
But I didn't take the time to, smell the roses, to use a cliche, I think it did, losing my husband did wake me up to, appreciating the thing, taking the time to appreciate what a gift life is and how beautiful life on this planet is. Wow. No matter what is going on, there's just so much beauty in this world, know?
Oh my gosh, I love that. But I feel like you, even after and since you've been painting and everything, and you and your kids, everything seems really so good. I mean, they're like, I don't know. I I'm obsessed with your son that's becoming the real estate mogul.
Oh yeah, he's.
I mean, that's so.
This is
cool.
what happens when you take. As Shelton knows, I'm obsessed with real estate. I don't know why.
I mean, she knows. You know as much about real estate as I do.
That's not true,
swear.
I love architecture. To me, it's creative. I think real estate is so.
It is very creative.
I love architecture. I love houses. I love decorating. And it's just fun for me. And
you're so good at it. You have such a good eye.
I would drive by with my kids on the way to, soccer or whatever. I'd say like, we have to go in this open house. And they'd be like, Mom.
You're like dragging them in.
I'm dragging them into open houses for no reason. But they, it's funny how you're always trying to teach your kids things and tell them things. They learn more from what
you're doing,
what things that you don't even know they've noticed.
Yeah.
Like my kids now that they're adults, and they will say things and remember things that I can't believe. It's more from like your example and what you do almost than what you're trying to beat into them. But so anyway, yeah, my son moved to Ohio where you can buy a great house for $60,000.
I mean, when you tell me that, I'm always like, wow.
It is unbelievable. So he's got into real estate. My older son is just got his PhD from Oxford in French film.
I mean,
and
insane.
He's teaching there and has a postdoctorate there. So yeah, they're really interesting people. And, you learn that you think you know what your kids, how they're going to turn out when they're little. Like, oh, he's good at this, or she's good at that, or she likes this, she likes that. At a certain point, it's a total surprise. I don't care who your kid is.
No, yeah.
They decide who they are and what they're going to be, and it's always surprising. And you think, oh, I did all these things so they would turn out this way. And you know what? It's up to them in the end.
Yeah.
And you just, you let them go be who they are. And it's an adventure for sure.
I mean, that's why, I'm just like, okay, here they are.
Well, your kids are unbelievable.
Oh, well, okay. They are. And it is like the luckiest thing.
Yes,
I don't know. They love school. They love sports.
Yeah.
They love their parents. I don't know. They have great manners. I really care about manners. That to me,
because you're from Southern Belle.
I'm Southern, but manners are. No,
they're absolutely.
I think that helps in life, though. I like having manners, and then just whatever. But I'm not like, oh, you have to be a male realtor.
Yeah.
No. I'm like, if you want to do developing, I'm like really interested in that. But I'm not. I'm like, whatever they're gonna.
Yeah, they're so sweet. That's the most important thing.
They're kind.
Good human beings.
Yeah, but I feel like you and your boys, in the past few years, seem really.
Oh, thank you.
I don't know. They're really good.
It's having an adult relationship with your children when they're adults.
Yeah,
is one of the greatest joys. It's really. Everybody says like, oh, I wish they would stay little forever. And I get that. But every year as my kids got older, I loved having more of an adult relationship, being able to talk about, things and
real things,
as an adult. And so it's, I think it just keeps getting, better and better. Yeah.
That's so good. I love that. And then, so what do you feel like, so your new clique was the painting, but do you still get as excited about the movie? Like you have this new
movie I'm so
I
excited.
mean, you seem so okay, guys, I don't know if you know, but this lady, she doesn't just like, okay, we're gonna go on a set. Like when you were doing the veil, you went country after country, you were stalking, finding the location, like you're very involved.
Yes,
you don't just like show up and it's all settled for you. You go hard.
I do go hard.
You're very involved.
Every producer, it's like you as a realtor. Not every realtor is at, the inspection and and the talking to an architect and finding a contractor. I mean, you do everything. And, many brokers do the bare minimum of basically the paperwork or something, So I think it's your personality. And I think there's no question that you have more success when you give 100%. I mean, it's just kind of like a formula. You know what I mean? Like some people are lucky where they just can kind of do the minimum and pull it off. But I think for a long-term career, that's usually not the case, but I do it because I love it.
Yeah, you seem like you like love it. You'd be like,
fun.
I'm going here, I'm going there. I was like, oh my God, where are you going now? And you're like, well, I'm off to here. I wasn't sure about this place, or
No, it's not an easy job. I mean, you know, getting up at 4 a.m. and shooting all night and, you know, below zero and standing in the rain and shoot, you know, like it's
not this glamorous thing. I mean, I feel like same.
It is for sure not this glamorous. No.
Put on the shows. It's like
the only thing that's glamorous is the premiere. Like it's not glamorous to make a movie or a TV show. It's really hard work and not glamorous at all. But it's fun. I mean, it's an adventure. Like I
bet it's the adrenaline.
Yes,
I mean, it's like putting it on and putting the pieces
something
together.
new every day. Like
I
could never have a job where I went to an office every day and did the same thing every day.
Yeah,
I could not do that. And thank goodness there's people who do that because they're the ones who kind of keep everything working in the world. But I don't have that ability. I have to do something different every day.
Yeah.
And I can't stay in an office every day.
Oh gosh.
So, so yes, it's fun for me. And, you know, if it's a story that I want to tell that I think has something to say, then I have a whole other level, you know, of excitement about it. And I love working with other creative people.
Yeah.
I love collaborating.
You're a collaborator. So that's what I think your biggest strength would be, that you can get along.
I like to work with people.
Yeah.
I don't like to, I had a brief time where I was trying to be a screenwiter, and it was so lonely. To me. Mm-hmm. And like alone in a room all day, you know, like I loved writing, and I love writing still. I love to work with writers, but I like to be in the room with a lot of people. Like, I have this idea, I have that idea. What if we did this? What if we did that?
Yeah.
And working with a production designer, a costume designer, the actors, the director, the writer. It's really challenging. It's really stimulating. It's really fun for me. So yeah, I'm still excited about it and still want to do it. So as long as I feel that way, you know, that could change. I mean, it definitely, you know, I'm open to the fact that maybe some other thing will happen, or I'll want to focus on my art, or who knows. I'm not, you know, I think that's the thing is as you do mature in your career and you get older, to not feel like, well, this is me for the rest of my life. You know, this is what I'm going to be doing for the rest of my life. I think, sometimes people feel like, well, I have success with this, so I'm going to keep doing it. And even if you love it, you could do something else at the same time, or it could branch off into some other area, you know? So, like you're doing with podcasts and the kind of entrepreneurial thing, supportive women that you're doing, and those things, they just enrich your life, you know? So I think
because it's fun.
Yeah, it's fun. And
I'd like to boost people up and make people, I love that part. But I mean, when you're doing this next movie, do you think the movies to the shows, or
I started in movies. I love movies.
Yeah.
I think I just feel more comfortable with movies, but I looked at the limited series with Elizabeth Moss. It was 6 parts. I just looked at it as a really long movie.
A long movie. So, yeah.
When I do television, I just look at it as a long movie. And everybody was teasing me because they were calling it a show and I kept calling it a movie. But
that's
I don't have it. It's all the same.
Is it
to me, it's the same. Yeah.
The same. When you're on set, though, do you have to be like, oh my gosh, we have to cut it down to 2 hours, or is it like that, or?
Well, you go into it knowing how many hours the studio wants, and then you have the scripts that match the episodes and everything. So it's pretty well thought out. So we knew we had 6 hours. For the story, and movies, 2-ish hours.
Oh yeah, and then that's where which studio's doing?
Practical Magic is the original studio, Warner Brothers.
Oh, yeah. And they came back to you, or you bring it to them? How does that work?
I had been suggesting it for many years. The author, Alice Hoffman, if you've never read her books, you got to read her books. Practical Magic's based on her book. And then she's written 4 books of the family saga.
Oh my God. Oh, fun.
Yeah, they're really great. She's written, I think, 30 books or bestsellers.
Oh, wow.
But so she wrote the sequel, and it was wonderful.
Oh.
And I think what happened was this last year or something, it was I think when it was the 25th anniversary of the movie, it just became like the #1 streamed movie, and there were so many articles about it. And every Halloween, it's in the top 3 movies.
Oh, so
so it just kept going, and I had a conversation with Sandra Bullock and with Nicole Kidman, and they said, every time we're on a red carpet or anytime we're anywhere, people bring up this movie. It up. Yeah, so they they saw that how much people wanted it as well. So
that's so fun. When does that start?
We're hoping this next year that we'll start. We don't have the for sure date yet. We're in the early stages with the script and everything. So.
Yeah. Oh, that's exciting. Will it be like a full year to do it, or how long?
It takes about a year minimum. Yeah, it takes a long time to make a movie.
My God.
Yeah.
It's so much lead up.
Yeah, it's a big project. They're always a big thing, no matter what the budget level or whatever. It's always a big endeavor. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Well, I'm so excited for you.
Thank
for that.
you.
And for everything. And I just love that you're my friend.
I am very blessed to have you as a friend. You've given me a lot of life advice.
Well, vice versa.
And brought a lot of great people into my life. Amanda in particular.
Yeah.
Who is just unbelievable. We call her Mean Amanda, but she's like the best, nicest person in the world. She's so caring, but she tells it like it is. We all need somebody like that.
She'll just tell you to shut the fuck up.
Drop your story.
Yeah, no more stories. She's like, we're moving forward.
Yeah. So
you have a lot of good things going on.
Yeah, so do you.
Yeah, but I'm excited.
Thank you
for all your fun things, because that was a lot. That was hard.
Yeah. And I count my blessings every day. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I love it, and so many good things. And you can all check out her art at the.
My website is DeniseDiNoviArt.com.
Okay.
And I hope to, maybe next spring have another.
Oh, do another
show, maybe. Yeah, we'll see. Well, we'll see. But yeah, the painting. I sold paintings, but I have plenty on my website and my stories on there. And
it's beautiful. And okay, can we say the funniest thing that Amanda said?
What
about? When you sent your link to her about the art. Okay, so she sent us the link to the art to myself and Amanda was like, phew, I was so scared to open it that it was gonna suck, but it's actually beautiful. But I actually love your art.
A lot of people are like that. I know. Amanda's so honest. But a lot of people are like, well, I love you. And so many people's paintings are so bad. And like, I thought it was going to be of like the waves in Laguna or something. And my art is abstract expressionist and
it's really
very different than that. But people will say, like, I was so relieved it didn't suck. Which I guess is a compliment. So.
It's a huge compliment, but it was so funny to see it in writing on a text message. Yeah. Within like 5 minutes, I'm like, she just says everything.
Yeah, good for her.
I know, it's very funny. We need it.
Yeah.
I guess both of us.
We do.
Need that. Okay, well, I love you, and thanks for coming on.
Love you too. Thank you, Shelton. It's always fun to see you.
I know. Everybody needs to hear more about you. I didn't know a lot of this.
Okay, I don't know about that, but thank you.
Okay, bye.
Bye.
I'm Shelton Wilder, and welcome to Wilder Possibilities Podcast, where each episode follows an entrepreneur's journey into the transformative power of that light bulb moment where everything clicks. I call that the click. Those pivotal points that redefine our futures, illuminate paths to success, and even change the world. Now let's get wilder.